three-time Olympic gold medalist as a player. And you won one gold medal as a coach, a champion in playing at college and coaching at college. You are undoubtedly a basketball expert. So did you watch the Knicks game last night?
I did. I attended for half of it, and then I beat the crowd out and ended up watching it in my hotel room.
Okay, well, you left at the right time. Because I just want to ask you about endgame situations here. When you have 30 seconds or less left on the clock and your team is down by 3, do you foul to send the other team to the free throw line or not?
You definitely foul.
You foul?
Yeah.
I would argue you don't foul because then if the other team scores a 3, worst case scenario, you play D, they score a 3, you're tied, you get the ball back, you have possession, and you can shoot for the last shot. It's like,
I would say I'm going to extend the time. Time is not on your side. So if you foul with 30 seconds, there's a lot of time left in order for you to play that cat and mouse game.
Oh, sorry, I'm saying if your team is
up.
Sorry, my bad. Oh, it's my bad. Yeah, your team is up by 3. Sorry, yeah. Your team's up by 3. There's less than 24 seconds left. NBA rules. NBA saw the advancement after timeouts and all that.
Yep.
If your team is up by 3, would you foul the other team?
No, because I believe in my defense.
Okay, well, someone should have told the Knicks that. Because they fouled. They were up by 3. They fouled. They sent the other team to a free throw line. The other team scored 2, and then they got the ball. The team fouled them anyway.
But what happened was an anomaly. Like the probability
of the Knicks losing is not an anomaly. No, that happens quite a lot actually. Yeah.
Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6? Oh, yeah, great. All right, cool. Okay. But sorry, I cut you off. What do you mean it's not an anomaly? What do you mean?
That doesn't happen very often where you got a 17-point lead and you lose it.
No, it does not happen.
So I probably would have been fouling the guy that was banging like 5 threes. I would not have let him get 3s off.
Oh yeah, but that guy he was going out of control. He was shooting like
anomaly. Like that doesn't happen.
He scored like 12 points in like a minute.
He did.
Which is only the Knicks could let that. Yeah. The other thing I want to ask you is sometimes I watch a lot of NBA basketball and like compared to college basketball. And one thing I found is like the rule enforcement is a lot different in the NBA. You know, for example, even traveling calls or moving screens. You know, it kind of, one of my things with basketball is so weird whenever in the NBA, they never call a moving screen for anything. You know, and I mean, I don't know, is that...
They did last night.
Sure, yeah. But in your opinion, is this like, is this just, okay, we just got to play this game now where screens are whatever they are?
Defenses are smart. So it's more of the defense is actually acting. Because the only thing you have to do is fall. If someone sets a hard screen on you or somewhat illegal screen, if you just put your body, make contact, and fall, more than likely they want to call it.
Okay.
They want to call that call.
Right.
And it's a objective call.
So you don't have a problem with the moving screen the way...
Well, I'm going to say this. When you're playing against a really tough offensive player, you're trying to create an edge. Mm-hmm. So if they're coming off of screens and I don't think I can get back into play, I'm going to fake a foul.
Okay.
I'm going to run into the screener and fall.
Okay. Right. And try to get a call.
Try, because they're going to score because I can't get back in front.
Okay. Well, this is interesting. Also, we just lost like 80% of the crowd because this is... these guys are like political nerds, so they don't know. So I find this very interesting, but I guess no one else here... no one else even knows what... But like, on the topic of being a championship coach, if you had to tell the Knicks something after a loss like that where you were up by 17. No, but like, what would you tell your team to like get them for game 2? You know what I mean?
I mean, there's really no motivating. You're in the Eastern Conference Finals. It is. You're at home. You still have an advantage. Like when the home team loses, then it becomes a really good series. I do think the Knicks is the better team. Mm-hmm. Right? I do think they'll win game 2. Yeah. They'll probably lose game 3. Win game 4.
Wait, hang on. Let me write this down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Might as well make some money on this. Okay, so what do you think is the point spread on game 2? All right. So you think they're going to win?
Yeah, in 6.
All right. Okay, great.
Yep.
Okay. But you wouldn't even tell them anything because they're professionals. You're like, you guys are pros. You guys get motivation. You're the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't need me to. There's no kind of locker room moment where you're like, come on, guys.
No, the loss itself is embarrassing, and they know what to do.
Okay. So you're going saying that.
I would, because at this stage of the game, if they drop another one, then they're done.
Right. But this is an interesting coaching philosophy. That less is more almost.
For me, less is more.
Right.
Like you actually have to know the pulse of your team. You have to look and see what they look like, what they sound like after that game. And you can probably look at the press conferences and hear what they're saying. And if they're saying, we let our foot off the gas, it's an anomaly, we got this. I mean, they're up 17 with 7 minutes left. Like, you're supposed to win that game. And if they put themselves in a position where they're up 17 in any other game, they're going to win.
Sure. And this idea of coaching, sometimes less is more in terms of motivating and coaching. I mean, reading your book, you talk about the 96 Olympics where, I mean, fair to say your coach was pretty hard on you in 96. So I don't think that Tara,
I learned
the coach,
from her.
Oh,
yeah.
Was she also less is more? Because it seems like
No, she was more is more.
Right.
So I went the opposite, but still,
right. So
we win.
Sure. Yeah, you adopted the philosophies. Why do you think that happened? Because you had a very tough coach at the 96 Olympics where you won the gold medal. And then you becoming a coach, you kind of went away from that philosophy a little bit. Like, why do you think that?
So I'm equally as tough, but I'm a communicator. I'm going to let you know it's going to be tough. And then I'm going to keep letting you know it's going to be tough. So I condition you to know it's going to be tough. So it's not necessarily the team not liking me, because I don't think we liked her during the process. Like, my team likes me. Like, they really understand what I'm trying to get them to accomplish. So we do it together. She pretty much separated herself from us and just kind of just pounded on us. And we just and it was strategic because she wanted us to come together as a team. And all of our anger and frustration was against her. And whereas I want my team with me, we're doing this together, but it's hard.
Sure. And obviously you've proven your philosophy to be somewhat correct in that way. So also, I mean, in basketball, there's this thing now where I guess analytics came in and there's this drive towards efficiency of the game, which has led to kind of almost like basketball by robots in some ways. Everyone kind of shoots the same, everyone plays the same, we're shooting threes, and it's this drive towards efficiency, which I think it's pretty clear that it is working. The efficiency is working. Points are higher than ever before. But it's kind of like losing a bit of the individual characteristics of individual players. Like there's no more people doing sky hooks. There's no more Kevin McHale's kind of low post games.
Mid-range.
Mid-range is gone.
Right.
I mean, so
it's threes or layups.
Right, threes or layups.
And it definitely takes away the creativity of individual play. Like we can't do that on a collegiate level. Some teams can do it, and they put themselves in a position to win. But I've never seen anybody win championships. They win a lot of basketball games, but bottom line, you need to win championships. So if a person is really efficient in the mid-range, the NBA analytics don't say take that shot, because overall mid-range shots are obsolete at this point, because you're better off taking a three-pointer, trying to get an advantage over a two-point.
Right.
Of course, but I allow our players to play free and take the types of shots that they practice.
Right. So you personally don't.
No. We had a guy that was so much in the analytics, and he was like, this is what the last national championship teams look like. This, and we didn't look like any of them. Our team.
Right.
We ended up winning in 2017, not looking like what the analytically correct teams, national championship teams, look like. So I was like, okay, so you're saying if we do this, it's an automatic win.
Right.
And I'm like, no, it's not an automatic win, because the players have to actually perform, not the numbers. And the numbers are part of it. It's just part of the game, but they're not the absolute.
You told the nurse to shut the up and get out of there. get out of
Pretty
the
much,
locker room. We're gonna win this game without your stupid numbers. All right. As a coach, like, or when you look at players, like, how do you draw the line between like having a killer instinct as a player and being a good teammate? Because I think sometimes in culture we really kind of like put on a pedestal this idea of I'm gonna win at all costs as a player, as a human being. Like, I don't care about anything but winning. And we kind of glorify that a bit in America.
Yep.
And I wonder if you can shed any light in terms of like, is that correct, or is that a balance between being a good teammate and being an individual kind of?
I think all human beings, we are creatures of habit, right? And you know what your habit is. I know what my habit is. My teammates, my players know what their habit is.
My habit is missing shots.
Right. So you would be a good teammate on the bench.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
But you also have to allow people to be who they are. And you have to condition people to accept you for who you are. Like, if you have a hothead player on your team, you got to give them the space to be a hothead, right? Give them that space, and then at some point you gotta cut it off because it's impacting everybody else. If you got somebody that's quiet and they don't like to be yelled at, then you gotta walk up to them and whisper in their ear and curse them out, not in front of everybody, not in front of the entire team, because they just don't take in information that way. So you, as a coach, you got to figure out each and every person and condition them. They're conditioning you to how they take in information and how they like to be coached. And in turn, you're giving them how you like to coach, and you got to meet them where they are.
Right. But you wouldn't say every coach would adopt that philosophy.
No, it's their way or the highway.
Right. And so I guess.
That's why we thrive in this space, because we're meeting players where they are and their entire families.
And that's why you're winning.
Yes, I think that contributes to winning.
So, what do you think about this? The NIL rules in college basketball right now, where your players are getting paid for their likeness, I guess.
Yes.
Not getting paid by the school, but for external sponsorship.
It's coming.
Sure. And how do you feel about college athletes and pay?
I think it's great. I especially think it's great for women, because women are thriving in this space. Like, I think companies are realizing that women are top consumers around the world, and now that they want women to be brand ambassadors for their companies. And I just feel like women's basketball has been held back for so long that now that we're in demand and popular, we're reaping the benefits in the NIL space. I will say there really has to be control over the amount of times that players can transfer. Because you can go to 4 schools in 4 years and still not graduate. Not at South Carolina, though.
Okay. And that's bad?
I think that's bad. Okay. I think that's bad, but you can also go to 4 schools and get more money at each school each year. Okay. So that's good for the individual.
Sure. So you think that's probably an area to look at in terms of?
Yes, I think the NCAA needs to do something about the just transfer whenever things don't go your way or you want more money.
Right. And I do want to talk about this book a little bit. I read it. I have to say it reads like you wrote it. As in the way the dialogue is written is very like, oh, this was you putting your thoughts in.
Everything. And do you feel the cover, the back cover?
Yeah, it's got the basketball feel,
yes.
That probably costs like $20. Knowing what I know about publishing, right? that jacket is, But I wanted to ask you about one story you're telling here is about how you got heart disease and you coached through it to win a championship like a crazy person.
Right.
Can you explain why that's probably not a good idea for normal people to?
Yeah, I got diagnosed with pericarditis. Don't ask me like how.
Sounds delicious.
You're right. I went to the best doctor in the country, which is at Cleveland Clinic. He told me that I need to sit down and have a coffee. He said, sit down, have a coffee. And I'm out coaching. We got a great team. We got an opportunity to win a national championship. He was like, if you don't sit down and just have a cup of coffee, you're going to need open heart surgery. Yeah, so I was like, okay, but let me see if I can do this. I couldn't get my heart rate up because pericarditis is just the inflammation of the lining of your heart. So even when it pumps fast, it's knocking against the inflammation. It never heals. It takes years.
When he said that, you just set a hot screen on him and you'd be like, don't tell me not to play basketball.
I thought he was nuts though. Like,
Right.
I don't think he really understood, what. And then he saw me coach.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, I saw you out there coaching, and that's probably something that you shouldn't be doing.
Sure.
And then I said, we're gonna be tranquil after the season. So after the season, I got better, and then I started doing yoga, and then I healed quicker than normal.
But you won a championship with heart disease, basically.
Yes. And no open heart surgery. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyone watching this, do not do that. Listen to your doctors. But Don, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Ronny, appreciate it.
Thank you for winning medals for America. And thank you for teaching the next generation. And thanks for joining me on the show. I really appreciate it. It's John Staley, everybody. Uncommon Favor is available now.